Hey, what's going on, everyone? Just wanted to give you a glimpse of my lower body workout today. I always like to start with a nice little warm-up and dynamic stretch before getting started. Just getting all the blood flow to the muscles that I'm going to be working, trying to prevent injuries. I like to start with some hip circles. The hips are really key in your warm-up. Everything's going to move from the hip, especially when you're squatting, lunging, whatever the case may be. You really want to get those joints lubricated. So I do start off with some hip circles, and then I get into a little bit more dynamic stretching that you can see here. Just a little bit of bouncing here and there in that bottom position of the squat to loosen up. Then I'll go into a bit more of some monster walks, loosening up the hamstrings and glutes a little bit more. And then some scoops that I'll do for the hamstrings here. You'll see, keeping the leg nice and straight with the toe up, heel just dug into the ground. Continue with that. A little bit more stretching, side to side movement. Now I'm getting deeper into my side lunge. Loosening up as I go. And then really what I like to do is place the bar on top of my thighs here, just focusing a bit more on ankle mobility, pushing down on the bar, leaning into it from side to side. Really help loosen up the ankles and the calves, especially if they get tight from any type of activities that I've done the previous days. So here, just getting into my first set of warm-up squats here, going through the motions, getting loosened up. This is really how I like to warm up. The bike and the stretching beforehand helps to get the blood flow to the muscles, but this is really going to pump blood into the muscle even more and getting myself to do the actual activity that I'm looking to do. I warm up pretty light, pretty dynamic and explosive on the way up. Trying to get anywhere from 10 to 12 reps. Now again, just upping the weight a little bit more. It's my second warm-up set. Just looking to get somewhere in the range of 6 to 10 repetitions as the weight gets heavier and I start working my way up into my working sets. Just showing you here one of my working sets. So nice and smooth and controlled on the way down. I'm just getting about 6 repetitions today with about 255 pounds. Keeping it somewhat light and focused on form, looking to get as low as I can, especially since I've been starting with the Olympic lifting. I want to make sure that I'm getting into that bottomed out squat, especially for when I'm catching a snatch or a clean. When you're in that bottom position, you got to be able to get up out of that bottom position pretty easily and comfortably. Here you see I just moved on to some walking lunges. I really love the walking lunges. It's just a bit more dynamic, transfers a little bit more into sport, so a bit more of an athletic movement in terms of the types of lunges that you can do. Obviously I do a great variety of the lunges. This is just one of my favorites. So lately I've been into a lot of combination workouts in terms of Olympic lifting, bodybuilding, metabolic HIIT style, even CrossFit a bit. So mixing it all up in my routines. So at this point in my routine, it's a bit more metabolic, combining 2 exercises and supersetting them. So for this one, just combining double unders, 100 double unders, switching right over to 30 wall balls with a 25-pound ball. And then for this I just did 2 rounds. But the wall balls were kind of tough, especially within my basement. Not the highest of ceilings, but just making sure I'm going through the form, getting down nice and low, driving with the legs. Double unders is something that I recently taught myself, so definitely couldn't get 100 unbroken, but certainly getting better at these. Trying to perfect the form. Now here I'm working a little bit more metabolic and also explosive movements. So this combo was actually 4 rounds of toes to bar, and that was about anywhere from 6 to 10 repetitions. Same thing with the box jumps. Box jumps are going to be at a 24-inch height for this, and I'm also wearing a 20-pound vest while doing it. So yeah, 4 rounds of these back and forth, a bit more metabolic and explosive movements. I really like all these athletic movements to really just transition. I can't be said enough, if you really are looking to have a physique like an athlete or like you did when you played sports, you really got to do those movements like you did when you practiced your sports. So a lot of these movements, being in this athletic, you can't just be, on a machine or moving slow through repetitions. You really have to have that explosiveness thrown into your workouts as well for great variety.
So get this dick, I'ma live this life in the fast lane, moving at the speed of life, and I can't slow down. Only got a gallon in the gas tank, but I'm almost at the finish line, so I can't stop now. I don't really know where I'm headed, just enjoying the ride. Just gonna roll till I drop and ride till I die. I'm living life in the fast lane, living life in the fast lane. Yeah, my whole goal as a poet's to be relaxed and orbit at war with a bottle as Captain Morgan attacks my organs. My slow flow is euphoric, it's like I rap endorphins. I made a pact with the devil that says I'll let you take me, you let me take a shovel, dig up the corpse of Jack Kevorkian. Go back and forfeit, more beef than you can pack a fork in. I'm living the life of the infinite enemy down. My tenement chimney now, the semi-serenity pal. Spin him around, entering in the vicinity. Now it's called him in, but he threw away the candy and ate the rap. I chewed him up and spitted him out. Girl, get up, now get down. He's looking around this club and it looks like people are having a shit fit now. Yeah, little trailer trash, take a look who's back and tip to town. Did I assist this not a motherfucker? Fuck them all, he's just the whole motherfucking Walmart. Get it down every time he comes a fucking round. And he came to the club tonight with 5'9" to hold this bitch down. Like a motherfucking chicken of water, he's trying to drip to drown. Shorty, when you dance, you got me captivated. Just by the way that you keep licking them dicks, like a lips, I'm agitated, aggravated. To the point you don't suck my dick, then you're gonna get decapitated. Other words, you don't fucking give me head, then I'ma have to take it. And after taking that, I'ma catch your case, it's gonna be fascinating. This gonna say the whole rap game passed away on top of the affidavit. Graduated from master debater / massive masturbator to Michael Jackson's activator. Meaning I'm on fire off the top, might wanna back up data. Rolling over hip-hop in a verbal tractor trailer. Homie, they sick, you can normally ask a hater. Don't it make sense? These shell cases, it's just like a bag of paper dropped in the lap of a tax evader. Homie, they spit. And I make that ass drop like a sack of potatoes. What girl on the crackulator? Percolator, this party, be my penis, ejaculator later. Tell your boyfriend that you just struck paid it. You're rolling with a player, you won't be exaggerating when you say it. Living life in the fast lane, moving at the speed of life, and I can't slow down. Only got a gallon in the gas tank, but I'm almost at the finish line, so I can't stop now. I don't really know where I'm headed, just enjoying the ride. Just gonna roll till I drop and ride till I die. I'm living life in the fast lane, pedal to the metal. Living life in the fast lane, pedal to the metal.
So this is late in my workout where I start to get a little bit more specific into the bodybuilding type movements to finish off a lot of my leg movements and finish off the muscles. So here I'm doing a combination of just more of an RDL, straight leg deadlift here with some 40-pound dumbbells in each hand, getting about 12 to 15 repetitions, and then I will superset that just with some hip thrusts. But I like to do the hip thrust with the rope. I've been really going to this movement a bit more, just being on my feet, again, just being in an athletic position when doing these glute movements, working the hamstrings and glutes a little bit more dynamically. Last superset that I have for my legs, hitting the quads a little bit more. I really don't do a whole lot of leg extensions, but for finishers I feel that it's fine. You're not going to really gain much strength from the leg extensions. You don't really want to go all that heavy either, just because the amount of tension it's putting on the joint. So what I like to do is I fatigue them a bit. Here I have a Sissy squat machine that allows me to really fatigue the muscle first before I get into my light leg extensions, where I'm actually doing 1.5 reps on the leg extension. So you bring the weight up, you come up all the way, you can pause if you want at the top, bring it down halfway, all the way back up, and then all the way back down, and you count that as 1 rep. And for these I was doing about 12 to 15 on those as well. Alright guys, that's it for this video. As you continue to watch, always remember, continue to challenge yourself. Challenge will always bring on change, but if you don't challenge, you'll never have that change.
Come with so full of focus, I'm insisting on keeping it going. The franchise, I exist in a league of my own. Expect attention, I'm familiar with being ignored. The true back, can't locking and closing the door. Rick roll in the road, I won't move. The king, I'm like Roy in the ring, I can't lose. Show the face of what compare to man. You wanna walk? Motherfucker ain't hard to find. I holler back, nigga. Can't be touched, can't be stopped, can't be moved, can't be rocked, can't be shook. We hot. nothing to prove. Stopping us a hot damn mule. God in my corner, nigga can't lose. Trying to get me out my hot damn shoes. See how quick I drop up and give you bitches the blues. They gon' see you on a hot damn news. And I ain't leaving nothing. Mix me to the crime, not a print, not a hot damn proof.